Let's get into my Chiefs breakdown. Oh man, they took a huge loss. Yo, talk about variance. Me being a avid poker lover, yo, variance is crazy. Yo, how Patrick Mahomes gonna throw an interception and go and try to tackle the person who got the ball and takes out Rashee Rice's knees. Oh man, I would be sick. As his best receiver. And he just took him out for most likely the rest of the season. There looks like there's some optimism from what the reports are that are floating around. Like maybe it's not a fully torn ACL or whatever knee ligaments might have been damaged or what structurally became damaged in his knee. I mean, I hope he comes back. You know, I want to see the Chiefs have full strength, but that's a huge loss for them. He was their best weapon, and you know him with Hollywood coming back. Hollywood was already out for the year, and Rice has that chemistry with Mahomes. Mahomes trusts him. It's getting rougher and rougher for the Chiefs on offense. So now they're back to Kelsey and Worthy. I mean, Worthy got a 54-yard touchdown this last game against the Chargers. The Chiefs are 4-0. We'll see what happens if as they get into tougher games. Like they got the Bills coming up. I'm sure they got the Bengals and some other teams coming up soon. We'll see if they got enough offensive firepower to keep up with those teams now that Rice is down. They still do have Travis Kelsey. He got going. I think he got 89 yards the last game. Xavier Worthy caught that 54-yard touchdown. They're going to need to develop him sooner and hope that Rice or Hollywood or both are able to make it back healthy for the playoffs so that it at least helps them trying to get this three-peat. And if I'm their front office, I'm making calls. I'm trying to get somebody. We're going to talk about that in a second, who I think that needs to be, that, you know, they're talking about getting traded, but I don't think they got a shot at them because it's the same division. But if I'm them, I'm looking. When you talk about doing something that's never been done in the history of the NFL by having a three-peat, I think it's worth mortgaging some of your future. I mean, again, that's why they get paid the big bucks to make those front office decisions. But I would be looking to make a move and try to get another weapon in there, like a DeAndre Hopkins, or I know Devontae's in the same division, and I don't know if the Raiders will ever give him up. Yo, give them whatever they want. You going for a three-peat. You going trying to become immortalized as the greatest dynasty of all time. I get it. You want to try and keep your first, second, whatever round picks so that you could continue to build this team, because the great dynasties of the modern football era are the ones that are able to get starting strong players in the draft because their salaries are much lower than players after their first 4 or 5 years who then have to go get that big bag. So they had to let Tyreek go. They let L'Jarius Sneed go. It's hard to hold on to really high-level talent in the NFL, and it's a hard salary cap. So you can't go over and pay luxury tax or do any of those things. So they got to, I would send it, man. Send it in. Go for the three-peat. But then again, we'll see if they're even able to get him. I'd give up a first to get Devontae if I was the Chiefs, because I know the Raiders don't want to trade him within the division. So that's where I'm at with the Chiefs, man. It's going to be rough for them. But again, we'll see. I think a lot of it has to do with what type of time frame we're looking at for Rashee Rice as far as how long he's going to be out. And then if they get Hollywood before the end of the year, get him a couple games, get him acclimated, you know, that's at least another weapon. And let's see what Xavier Worthy can become. Now, I don't know if he's Tyreek Hill, but, you know, if he can get anything where he's not just explosive and a vertical threat, but like a viable option as far as different routes and different route tree combinations that they could run with him out there. And then Pacheco comes back. These guys they're just hurt all over. Lost their, you know, two of their top pass catchers and Isaiah Pacheco. And nobody's feeling it more than me with Mahomes on my fantasy team. I might have to consider putting somebody else in for Patrick Mahomes. As crazy as that sounds. You know, it's not real life. We just talking about trying to win a fantasy football game, which I'm 4-0, by the way. You know, we're doing all right on Game 7 TV on our fantasy football league. Hopefully Mahomes can get it together. I do have Worthy, though. And like I said, I told you guys when I did my fantasy football breakdown, I'll go to war with Jared Goff. Man just went 18 for 18. He on my bench.